Now on Denver 7, a second day of extreme heat on the Front Range.
But relief is on the way. Our Denver 7 weather team is tracking a big cool down coming soon to Colorado.
We've heard stories of folks whose rental increases have gone up by $500.
Plus, Coloradans in crisis as rent prices skyrocket higher than ever before. Now a group is calling on state leaders to take action.
Everything that happens in Denver hinges on our residents' ability to afford to live here.
And a family who lost everything in the Marshall Fire is getting some much needed help thanks to generous Denver 7 viewers.
It's been really hard lately, so it's kind of nice to have this to help out. Thank you guys so much.
Good evening. Another scorcher outside today with a cool down on the way, but check out people braving the heat at Denver's Wash Park. You know, Coloradans go outside despite the weather.
They definitely do. Meteorologist Stacey Donaldson joins us now. Stacey, we broke heat records yesterday. It was even hotter out there today.
That's right, but our record high was even hotter today, so we did not break a record this afternoon, even though we got up to 101 this afternoon. Yesterday we were at 100, but the record today, 102, set in 2016. Now our average high is only 90 degrees for this time of year, so we're well above where we should be. And we had triple digits all across the Eastern Plains. 108 for Ray this afternoon, 102 for Akron, and 103 for La Junta, even 105 for Pueblo, with 80s and 90s again for the higher elevation. So it's warm even up in the mountains. Now we do have a few scatter showers off to our west and to our north, but there's a cold front coming this way that will really cool us off for tomorrow, take us way out of those triple digits, thank goodness. But we have rain off to our west. We really haven't seen much happening here in Denver. We're starting to see a little rain creep in here on the southwest side of the metro, and severe thunderstorm warnings off to our north, moving into Pete's right now. This severe thunderstorm warning until 5:30. We've had some reports of small hail and also lightning for this area as it moves off to the north and east. Now tonight in Denver, it remains warm all the way through 8 p.m. We'll still be in the 80s, then in the 70s after that. But we'll talk more about this huge cool down coming our way, thank goodness, in just a few minutes.
Stacey, we'll hear from you soon. Thanks. Now, with the record-breaking temperatures this weekend, HVAC companies are slammed with calls to fix air conditioning units. Marcus Falth owns Great Guys Heating, Cooling, and Electrical in Littleton. He's been hiring people as quickly as he can, but he says the industry is struggling to bring in enough employees to keep up with the demand. That's especially true when high temperatures hit and air conditioning units are given the ultimate stress test.
Today, we've received 76 email requests and the phone has not stopped ringing. Clearly, with the service staff that we have, as well as our competitors, there's just not enough bodies to be able to service those calls in a timely manner.
Falth says he's worked to grow his team and can usually respond to a call for an AC fix within about 3 to 5 days. He says preventative maintenance is key. Be sure to swap out the filters on your AC unit every 2 to 3 months and schedule an inspection at least once a year. All right, it's a problem that many of us can relate to. Your landlord suddenly raises the rent by several $100s, putting you in a tight financial spot.
Now, this has happened to several people we work with here, including you, Brian.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in my last apartment complex, they tried to raise me by $400, and I packed up my bags and I said, see you later.
A group of Coloradans want that kind of increase to stop, so they held a rally at the state capitol today. Denver 7's Patrick Perez was there, explains what this group is demanding from state leaders.
Housing is a human right. Fight, fight, fight. At the steps of the state capitol, a rally Sunday for a crisis impacting many Coloradans.
If you've ever experienced that living and surviving, it's two different things, and it's just not fair.
Mariah Rodriguez lives on a limited income after suffering a brain injury in a car crash. Paying for public housing and supporting her 4 children is getting harder and harder.
Sometimes it feels shameful to not be able to go into the mall and buy your kids shoes, or go out to eat like everybody else, or, go to the movies, things like that.
It's why she and several others spoke at the Colorado Homes for All rally, calling on state leaders to repeal the 1981 ban on rent stabilization.
We've heard stories of folks whose rental increases have gone up by $500 1 month, and they've had to leave their homes. And that's with their homes still not being completely habitable.
Coalition manager Yoselin Iboa says it's time cities and counties like Denver have the ability to implement rent protections that fit their communities. Councilmember Jamie Torres agrees.
Everything that happens in Denver hinges on our residents' ability to afford to live here.
According to the University of Denver's Denver Metro Apartment Vacancy and Rent Report, the average rent for the first quarter of 2022 was nearly $1,800. In the first quarter of 2019, it was nearly $1,500, an almost $300 increase.
All the projects that they've torn down and just different communities, you see everything just changing.
As Mariah and others continue to advocate on their behalf, they hope state lawmakers listen closely.
9 out of 10 people, you'll hear the same story.
Patrick Perez, Denver 7.
Look, I feel the pain too, Patrick. Thank you. All right, going in depth now to give you some perspective on rent in Colorado. When it comes to the law, Colorado has limited but useful protections in regards to rent increases. Landlords can only raise your rent once every 12 months. If you do not have a written lease, the landlord must give you 60 days notice before increasing your rent. However, Colorado does not have any limits on the amount your rent can increase. So landlords can raise it as high as they want.
And they are. All right, when it comes to rent, the city of Denver's rent report shows prices went up by about 1.5% just in the last month. The median price for one-bedroom apartments is just over $1,400 a month. A two-bedroom, close to $1,800. Overall, prices have gone up, listen to this, 11.5% in just the last year. Now, outside of Denver, ApartmentList.com reports that Arvada has the fastest rent growth in the metro, more than 16% year over year. Brighton rental rates were at the slowest at 13%. Brighton is also home to the cheapest median two-bedroom apartments at $1,400 a month. Parker is most expensive at more than $2,200 a month.
Now, if you can afford to rent an apartment, you'll have to find one first, and that's getting even harder by the day. ApartmentsList.com says the vacancy rate in Denver is just under 6%. That means 94% of apartments in Denver are full. A year ago, it was slightly easier to find a place when apartments were about 91% full.
And last month, the Denver City Council took a drastic step to increase the amount of affordable housing in the city. They approved a measure that requires builders to include affordable units with any new construction, or they have to pay a fee. This would apply to new developments of 10 or more units, both those for sale and for rent. This new policy went into effect on July 1st.
Now, to learn more about housing and rent prices in Denver, visit thedenverchannel.com. Our digital team posted an article breaking down the city's June housing report and what it means for buyers and renters.
More than 6 months after the Marshall Fire tore through Boulder County, Denver 7 Gives has not stopped helping those who lost everything.
Denver 7's Christian Lopez shows us how your generous donations are helping a family of 7 after a thief stole the little possessions they had left.
We first introduced you to Tylea Pangel back in May. She's been doing everything she can to give her 5 young children a sense of stability after losing everything in the Marshall Fire.
Our children didn't understand. They wanted to go home. There was a lot of tears and explanations of, what had happened. We had to show them because they didn't get it.
The family had to deal with another unexpected obstacle along the way. Their car was broken into.
They had gone through everything. There was so much missing. We had wonderful things from the community that people had given us.
6 months after losing everything, making ends meet is still a big challenge.
We're at the point where people are just scraping by, if that, to get by. People are still struggling, and we're doing the best that we can to make ends meet.
But once again, our amazing community stepped up to help this family in their time of need. So we know you guys have been struggling, so we actually wanted to surprise you guys with a check. And this is thanks to our Denver 7 Gives Foundation, our generous viewers, to help you guys cover the cost of rent.
Gosh,
so
thank you.
Here you go.
Oh my gosh, this helps so much. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
Oh my gosh, really good, because it's so helpful. Because right now it's a struggle.
Some financial relief while they figure out what comes next in their road to recovery.
It's been a struggle. It's been really hard lately, so it's kind of nice to have this to help out. Thank you guys so much.
Reporting in Louisville, Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Love to see that. All right, fire crews are struggling right now to contain an out-of-control wildfire in Yosemite National Park. The Washburn Fire has burned more than 1,000 acres there over the last 2 days. Park officials say the fire has not destroyed any of the famous sequoia trees, but one of the largest groves with more than 500 trees is at risk. The cause of this fire is still not known, and it is expected to take several weeks to fully extinguish.
Colorado missed out on nearly $3 million in potential revenue because Colorado Parks and Wildlife may have mismanaged campsites. That's according to a recent state audit. It says CPW collected close to $15 million in campsite reservation revenue last year, but the agency could have collected more if it weren't for unnecessary site closures, refunds, and cheaper fees. The audit found funding shortfalls at parks could reach $11 million per year by 2025 if changes aren't made. CPW says it will start making changes in December.
All right, coming up, the final January 6th hearings are scheduled for this week. What to expect in the last two hearings and which former White House official is providing brand new testimony.
Plus, Ford revealing a major problem with its hybrid SUVs, why the car company is recalling thousands of vehicles.